Alright Nexians, if our last journey was a whisper of steel, today we delve into the roar of progress. We're moving from the close quarters dance of the blade to the devastating reach of ranged warfare. We're talking about the evolution of conflict, the reshaping of battlefields, and the sheer overwhelming force that comes from a distance. Today, we're dissecting the very definition of modern necessity: guns and firearms. From the earliest smoke-belching cannons to the precision instruments of tomorrow, few weapons have had as profound an impact on history and fiction alike. They've brought a new kind of terror, a new kind of power, and a new undeniable necessity to every theater of war. So, what makes firearms such an indispensable force, both in our history and across the vast tapestry of fiction? Its necessity isn't just about killing power. It's about altering the very rules of engagement, allowing power to be projected further and faster than ever before. Let's ground ourselves in real-world history. The journey of firearms began with the discovery of gunpowder, transforming warfare forever. Initially, crude hand cannons emerged in 13th century China, rudimentary tubes spitting out projectiles, but hinting at the revolution to come. By the 14th century, these evolved into siege cannons across Europe and Asia, shattering stone fortifications and ending the dominance of armored knights who had previously been all but invincible to conventional attacks. The individual soldier's arsenal saw its own dramatic shifts. The cumbersome arquebus of the 15th century, though slow to load and notoriously inaccurate, allowed common foot soldiers to punch through knightly armor from a distance, forever changing the battlefield hierarchy. This led to the widespread adoption of the musket in the 16th and 17th centuries, which fired in synchronized volleys could unleash devastating barrages, emphasizing disciplined formations over individual duels and giving birth to modern infantry tactics. The flintlock mechanism in the 17th century brought greater reliability, making firearms more practical for general use. But it was the Industrial Revolution that truly accelerated their development. The 19th century ushered in percussion caps, breech-loading rifles, and repeating mechanisms, like those found in the iconic Winchester rifles. These innovations drastically increased fire rates and reduced reload times, enabling continuous suppressive fire. The advent of the Gatling gun in the American Civil War, and later true machine guns like the Maxim gun, fundamentally changed how wars were fought, making mass casualties a horrific and unprecedented reality by the early 20th century. From the single-shot pistol to fully automatic rifles, from handheld launchers to intercontinental ballistic missiles, the development of firearms has been a relentless pursuit of greater range, accuracy, and destructive capacity, each iteration becoming a necessity in the arms race for military dominance. This constant evolution, driven by the demands of warfare, solidified the gun's place as the most significant factor in modern conflict. Moving into the boundless realms of fiction, firearms take on even more diverse and fantastical forms. In gritty, post-apocalyptic worlds, cobbled together shotguns are the only defense against mutated horrors. In futuristic sci-fi, sleek energy blasters and plasma rifles become the standard issue for galactic militaries, capable of vaporizing foes or punching through alien armor. Even in worlds with magic, guns often find their niche, sometimes enchanted or hybridized, proving that the concept of projecting force from a distance remains universally essential. Whether it's the iconic super shotgun from Doom, essential for ripping and tearing through demonic hordes, the versatile and customizable arsenal of Destiny, used to fight cosmic threats, or the tactical and often absurd weaponry of Metal Gear Solid that defines espionage and warfare. Firearms in fiction adapt to their specific necessities, defining combat scenarios and the power dynamics of their respective universes. Now, let's pull the trigger on specific universes where firearms aren't just about conflict, but about control, order, and the very fabric of society. And what better place to start than with a personal favorite, psychopaths. In the dystopian future of psychopaths, society is governed by the omniscient Sybil system, which continuously monitors every citizen's mental state and crime potential, known as their crime coefficient. In this world, conventional guns are largely irrelevant against latent criminals or those who slip through Sybil's control. The true instrument of necessity, wielded exclusively by inspectors and enforcers, is the Dominator, portable psychological diagnosis and suppression device. The Dominator is far more than a mere gun. It's a direct extension of the Sybil system's judgment. It cannot be fired by anyone other than an authorized user, and it automatically switches between modes based on the target's crime coefficient, from the non-lethal paralyzer mode, which merely stuns, to the devastating lethal eliminator mode for those whose potential for crime is too high, and even the explosive destructive decomposer for truly monstrous threats. The Dominator's function is absolute. Without this sophisticated judgment executing firearm, the Ministry of Welfare's Public Safety Bureau would be powerless to enforce Sybil's will, leaving society vulnerable to chaos and unpunished criminal intent. The Dominator is thus indispensable, not just as a weapon, but as the very tool by which order is maintained and deviance is managed, making it the most necessary instrument for the foundation of their controlled existence. From the intricate societal control of the Dominator, we now confront existential threats that demand sheer, overwhelming firepower. Let's delve into the dire necessity of firearms in Neon Genesis Evangelion. In the apocalyptic world of Evangelion, humanity faces the enigmatic and impossibly powerful angels, monstrous beings capable of withstanding conventional military attacks with ease, protected by impenetrable AT fields. Standard tanks, fighter jets, and ground troops are rendered utterly useless. Humanity's last desperate line of defense rests solely on the colossal, biomechanical Evangelion units and their uniquely scaled firearms. The EVAs wield an array of massive, bespoke firearms, such as the standard pallet rifle, enormous Gatling guns, and the devastating positron rifle, often a one-shot, city power-draining weapon designed to counter specific angel defenses. These aren't just big guns. They are precisely engineered tools when paired with Evangelion's powers and ability to project its own AT field, can bypass or overwhelm an angel's defenses, allowing for the critical strikes needed to defeat them. Without these specialized, incredibly powerful firearms, often the only weapons capable of even scratching an angel, humanity would have absolutely no means of pushing back against their encroaching destruction. The necessity here is stark. The EVAs and their tailored arsenal of devastating guns are the only things preventing total annihilation. From the colossal battle against angels, we now descend into a world where the trigger finger is the only thing keeping you alive against relentless, unholy hordes. Let's load up for the absolute necessity of firearms in Call of Duty. In the sprawling universe of Call of Duty, particularly within its iconic Zombies mode, firearms transcend mere weaponry. They are the literal lifeline. Faced with endless regenerating waves of the undead, conventional melee or limited explosives are quickly rendered useless. The progression through rounds, the constant scramble for points to open new areas, buy perks, and most crucially, acquire and upgrade weapons from the mystery box or wall buys all revolve around the absolute necessity of a superior firearm. From the initial pistols to the devastating power of Pack-a-Punch upgraded assault rifles, shotguns, and wonder weapons like the ray gun or thunder gun, each more powerful firearm isn't just an upgrade. It's a desperate measure against an escalating, insurmountable threat. Your survival depends entirely on your ability to acquire, manage, and continuously deploy a highly effective arsenal. Without these diverse and incrementally more powerful guns, meticulously chosen and upgraded, players would quickly be overwhelmed, proving that in the face of unending supernatural horror, the firearm isn't just a choice. It's the singular, dire necessity for every last stand. From the relentless zombie hordes requiring an evolving arsenal, we now leap into a chaotic, loot-driven wasteland where the sheer variety and abundance of firearms define survival and power. Let's dive into the core necessity of guns in Borderlands. In the anarchic, hyper-stylized universe of Borderlands, particularly across the treacherous planet Pandora and beyond, guns are not just weapons. They're currency, identity, and the very foundation of interaction. Facing endless hordes of aggressive bandits, mutated creatures, and corporate enforcers, a Vault Hunter's survival is intrinsically linked to their constantly evolving arsenal. The game's core gameplay loop, famously built around a billion guns, underscores their absolute necessity. Without a diverse and ever-improving collection of unique pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, rocket launchers, and specialized manufactured weaponry, players simply cannot contend with the escalating threats or exploit the elemental weaknesses of their myriad of foes. Here, necessity isn't just about having a gun, but having the right gun for the right situation, and always searching for a better one. The distinct playstyles, elemental damage types, and statistical variations of each firearm ensure that they are the primary means of progression and power fantasy. Whether you're slagging an enemy with corrosive rounds, setting them ablaze with incendiary shots, or simply unloading a burst of kinetic damage, the constant acquisition and deployment of these distinct firearms is the singular, indispensable method of survival, exploration, and carving out a legend in this chaotic, gun-obsessed frontier. From the chaotic, loot-driven firearms of Pandora, we now shift to worlds where guns are instruments of highly specialized precision or desperate survival against overwhelming odds. First up, a masterclass in modern gun fu. In the stylized hidden world of John Wick, firearms are not just weapons. They are fundamental tools of a highly disciplined, almost ritualistic profession. For assassins operating within this intricate criminal underworld, the pistol, the submachine gun, and the shotgun are extensions of their unparalleled training and tactical precision. Unlike chaotic battlefields, here, guns are used with surgical efficiency in close quarters combat, often in complex sequences of gun fu that blend martial arts with firearm mastery. John Wick's infamous proficiency isn't just about raw power, but about the absolute necessity of perfect weapon handling, reload speed, and target prioritization to survive seemingly insurmountable odds. Without this intimate mastery of various firearms, the highly competitive and lethally unforgiving nature of his world would instantly lead to his demise. The necessity here is about skill, adaptation, and the absolute reliance on these specific tools within a profession. Now, let's look at another scenario where firearms are the only thing standing between humanity and utter extinction, in Aliens, the franchise. In the terrifying universe of the Alien franchise, especially within the context of the colonial marines, humanity faces the perfect organism, the xenomorph. These creatures are incredibly resilient, reproduce rapidly, and excel in close quarters ambushes. Standard issue personal defenses are often useless. The absolute necessity of firearms for these soldiers is stark and immediate. Weapons like the iconic M41A pulse rifle, the smart gun with its auto-targeting system, and the flamethrower are not just standard equipment, they are specialized tools explicitly designed and desperately needed to engage and suppress a threat that shrugs off lesser weaponry. Without the concentrated sustained firepower of these military-grade firearms, capable of tearing through and disrupting relentless charges, the colonial marine would be instantly overwhelmed and consumed. Their firearms are the indispensable sole means by which they can attempt to contain, push back, and survive against an organism that embodies pure, unyielding lethality. So there you have it, Nexians. We've journeyed through universes where firearms are more than just a means to an end. They are the essential, defining tools of survival, order, and conflict. From the socio-diagnostic precision of the Dominator in Psychopaths to the overwhelming firepower required against angels in Evangelion. From the endless, desperate battle for survival against undead hordes and Call of Duty zombies to the chaotic, evolving arsenal of Borderlands. The surgical lethality of professionalism in John Wick to the desperate, specialized defense against a perfect organism in the Alien franchise. In each of these worlds, guns and firearms in their myriad of forms stand as unequivocally necessary weapons. They represent humanity's relentless drive to project force, to control the uncontrollable, and to survive against impossible odds, whether for defense, offense, or the very maintenance of an established order. Their widespread adoption and constant evolution prove their indispensable role in shaping destinies and dictating the rules of engagement. But what do you think, Nexians? Did we miss a crucial firearm that defines this universe? Which weapon do you believe is the most necessary when it comes to long-range destruction? And what other essential armaments should we field test in our next Weapons of Necessity breakdown? Lock and load your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thanks for joining the Nexus, stay locked and loaded, and this is your captain, signing off.